It was one of those rainy nights in Seattle that just drags on forever, the kind where the streetlights bounce off wet pavement like some cheap movie set. And there I wait. No, this isn't my story, but man, it feels like it could be. The way Jack Thompson told it to me over a cup of joe at that dingy diner on Pine Avenue. Jack, this grizzled vet in his mid-50s, had his whole world ripped apart right there on a forgotten patch of sidewalk, his beat-up tint slashed to bits by some punk with a grudge, laughing like it was the funniest damn thing since Saturday morning cartoons. And Jack, clutching those shreds, feeling like the last piece of him was gone, powerless under the glow of that flickering pawn shop sign. But hold on, because what happened next? 80 iron horses thundering in like cavalry from an old western, turning despair into something fierce and unbreakable. Yeah, that's the hook that still gets me every time. Jack wasn't always like this. You see, he'd been a Marine, boots polished to a shine, storming through jungles and deserts back in the day, hauling his buddies out of hellfire, medals pinned on his chest that nobody bothered to glance at anymore. Came home to ghosts in his head, jobs that fizzled out faster than cheap fireworks, and a loneliness that crept in like fog off the sound by 54. He was pitching that old Army surplus tent on a vacant lot next to a boarded-up auto shop, the smell of greasy burgers wafting over from the corner grill, mixing with diesel fumes that never quite cleared. Folks called him the banner guy because he'd stake this faded American banner in the dirt every morning, saluting it sharp as a knife edge, like that ritual was the only thing keeping his spine straight in a world that kept bending him low. The tent? It wasn't just fabric, it was his fortress, his last grip on order amid the chaos, where he'd brew instant coffee on a rusty stove at dawn, flip through dog-eared thrillers at dusk, ignoring the stares or the occasional tossed coin, never begging, just existing in that slow rhythm while the city blurred by. But trouble has a way of sniffing out vulnerability, doesn't it? And on that drizzly Wednesday, as the sky turned bruise purple and the avenue buzzed with afterwork hustle, this guy shows up, Kyle, early 20s, all swagger in a ripped jacket, eyes hard from too many bad breaks, nursing a beef because that lot was where his crew used to squat before the city cracked down, blaming vets like Jack for ruining the vibe, or some nonsense. Like Jack was the one calling the shots. Kyle circles the camp slow, predatory, kicking at the banner's pole with his scuffed boot. Nice digs, pops, he sneers, voice dripping sarcasm. Uncle Sam forget to hook you up? Guess I'll help him out. Jack stands up deliberate, hands steady despite the shake inside. Back off the banner. Sonit's earned more respect than you'll ever know. But Kyle just grins wider, that twisted mix of anger and boredom fueling him, yanks out a pocket knife, and slashes right through the canvas like it's paper, fabric tearing loud as a scream. Jack lunging but too slow. Age and we're catching him mid-step, Kyle shoving him down hard, laughing echoey down the block. Stay down. Hero World's moved on without you. Jack hits his knees, world spinning, not just the tent gone, but that fragile shell of pride cracking wide open, dignity spilling out like his scattered belongings. A frayed photo of his squad, a worn Bible, all muddied in the rain, thinking, this is it, the end of holding on. Across the street, though, Anna Lopez, this tough-as-nails waitress at the grill, spots it all through the steamed-up window. She knew Jack from his monthly black coffee splurges, always tipping exact change folded neat as a letter, polite with a ma'am that made her smile despite the long shifts. Her blood boils, storming out yelling, hey, asshole, pick on someone your own size. Kyle flips her off, melting into the shadows, but Anna's at Jack's side in a flash, helping him up amid the wreckage, her voice soft now. Mr. Thompson. God, I'm so sorry, this ain't right. Jack shakes his head, staring at the toppled banner. Don't be. Kai didn't just cut cloth, he cut what's left of me. Feels like the war never ended, just changed battlefields. Anna's fury simmers into Acciano cops. She knows they'd file it away like yesterday's news instead. She dials her cousin's buddy, Grizz, a hulking biker from the Steel Legion crew, guys with a rep for riding hard, but stepping up for the overlooked, her voice urgent on the line. Grizz, there's a vet here got jumped, tent trashed, he's got zilch left. Grizz pauses, gravelly. Pine Avenue? Stay Putwiri rolling. Hours tick by, Jack slumped against the grill's wall, Anna pressing hot coffee into his palms, rain pattering steady, and then it starts. that low rumble blending with traffic at first, growing into an earthquake of engines. 80 Harleys roaring in formation, headlights slicing the night like lasers, chrome gleaming wet, leather jackets patched with skulls and eagles, the whole avenue vibrating as folks poke heads out windows, drawn to the thunder. Jack freezes, whispering, that sound. Like reinforcements in Nam, when you thought you were done for. Anna squeezes his shoulder. They're here for you, Jack reel back up. Grizz dismounts first, beard like a Viking, eyes scanning the mess the slashed tent, muddied banner. Then Jack crouches down level. You served, brother? Jack nods faint. Long ago. Grizz picks up the banner, dusts it clean, stakes it firm, salutes crisp, then turns to his crew. This man's watched our backs once tonight. We watch his. Cheers ripple from the gathering crowd, Anna's eyes misting, Jack's chest tightening not from pain, but from something warming back to life. Thinking, maybe I'm not invisible after all. The night shifts gear the Legion posts up like sentries, engines idling low, eyes on every shadow, rotating watches while they chat quiet with Jack, sharing smokes and stories of their own demons, one guy patching the tent scraps with tape like it matters. Another draping a blanket over his shoulders. Hang in there, vet wavy, all been in the dirt. Kyle lurks nearby, peeking from an alley, his cocky hide deflating at the sight of 80 against 1, slinking away scared. But the real wins in Jack's slow thaw, breathing easy for once, no more scanning for threats. Come dawn, the lots of hub tarps strung for cover, breakfast sandwiches passed around, neighbors trickling in with donations, gloves and jackets, even a heater humming off of Jenny Jack's heart pounding. Why all this for a washed-up grunt? Grizz claps his back, because battles don't quit when the uniform does, and no brother rides alone. Then the rev-up the Legion forms a convoy, Jack in a sidecar center, banner flying like a standard, rolling slowed down main, pedestrians halting, jaws slack, some saluting, a kid waving from a stroller, another vet in a cap yelling, Semper Fi, brother. Anna tails in her beat-up sedan, honking wild. That's our Jack. But Kyle, seething in the crowd, his grudge boiling maybe from losing his spot to vagrants like Jack, or deeper, his dad a vet who bailed, lunges forward snarling. This ain't over, old man. Only to slam into two bikers, iron grips pinning him. Wrong move, punk, one growls. Cops swooping in quick, cuffing him as the square erupts in cheers. Jack standing tall, watching justice hit like a freight train, no more crumbling pride surging back fierce. By midday, the city's awake news vans rolling up, calling it the Legion stand. Jack offered a room at a vet shelter, but he hesitates. Ain't about handouts, it's dignity. Grizz nods. Take it. We'll ride shotgun till you're solid. The convoy caps at the waterfront memorial, Jack saluting steady amid flickering candles from strangers, Legion behind like a wall, applause thundering, Jack's tears flowing free, release not regret. Weeks on, Jack's in stable digs, vest from the crew reading Iron Kin, banner on his wall, sleeping sound to distant rumbles, Anna dropping by with laughs and lunches, the city seeing him not as a shadow but a survivor. But here's the thing that sticks with Muas, the Legion heroes, or just vigilantes skirting the law. Kyle got his due, sure, but what if that thunder scares off the wrong folks, or empowers the next grudge? Makes you wonder about justice in these divided times, communities stepping up, or chaos in Chrome. Drop a comment below. What do you think? Is this real heroism, or does it blur the lines too much? Share your take on fairness, vet struggles, or those community clashes that hit close to home like, and subscribe if stories like this fire you up, and hit that bell so we can keep unpacking these real-life twists together.